This is where the devil is in the details. The operating expenses, Access Bank reported operating expenses that ballooned by as much as 45% in 3 months. That's between the month of April and June this year. That is 45% increase over the same operating expenses by Access Bank in the second quarter of last year. That's the poison in the cup for this lender. And that's what I did to the other comprehensive income by Access Bank was to chop it down to 7.7 billion. Look at the bottom of the page there. Access reported other comprehensive income of 30.7 billion naira last year, second quarter. This year, that was down significantly to just 7.7 billion naira. That's the bad news in the earnings that was reported yesterday by Access Bank. Now, what's the analyst saying as far as these numbers were concerned? So this is what FBN Quest market analyst says in a report that pushed out late Wednesday afternoon, that if you take the entire half year, first half 2017 numbers of Access together, the pre-tax profit was ahead of consensus forecasts of 98.4 billion. So that was good. That's in the green. As far as the analysts in FBN Quest concerned, they are expecting a very slight upward revision to the earnings consensus, earnings estimates for 2017 full year for Access Bank. So we expect to see that come through in the days and weeks ahead. And then expect a subdued to neutral reaction from the stock market. In other words, today we expect investors, the market, to trade Access Bank on a subdued or neutral note because those earnings weren't as sweet as expected. Meantime, since January 2017 started on the 1st of the year, the shares of Access Bank had risen 74.4%, and that's massively above the broader market, 37.9% year to date. We're going to check out with Rotimi Fakaijo later on the program to see how Access Bank is trading today, the morning after its second quarter and first half 2017 numbers. We're going to track that for you within the next 45 minutes, thereabout. Meantime, let's go to the markets where we finished off yesterday. The stock market decided to stick to the green territory. That was about 0.2%. We got our 37,000 psychological index reading back on Wednesday, a notch above that level. The market capitalization at 12.773 trillion naira. In terms of volume, we're just around our daily average, above 200, 264.28. And in terms of naira value, that fetches about 5.53. And in terms of deals, we're slightly below average, about 4,000, but not significantly, 3,841. The banking sector was really active on Wednesday. This is a midweek report you're looking at. The banks gave us that decent 0.26% index rally on Wednesday. Consumer goods was down by about 0.2%. Industrial goods was down 1.05%. Investors are still taking profit on Dangote cement and the heavyweights within that space. Insurance went south 1.24%. Oil and gas was down about 0.75%. Let's move into the NASD, what you call the over-the-counter market for unlisted securities. A very small market, and that was largely lackluster. So we might just step over that and go into what you call the fixed income markets. But of course, consider market cap 408.93 billion naira. In naira value, that was largely unchanged. So we just a step over that. But very active secondary trading day at the treasury bills and the and the debt market, the bond market. That's where we we step into now. I think we're done with this. 36,277 on the NASD. I think we can take that away. Let's bring in the fixed income market, because when you see treasury bills auctions like we saw yesterday, then you find what happens to your what you call money market funds. Overnight money market rate expanded exponentially yesterday. 7,093 basis points. We saw overnight money 96%. That's against 25.17% on Tuesday. That's quite massive. Why? You all know why. If you're in the market, the central bank, of course, they had an outflow of open market operations, we call it OMO, of 58.29 billion. So there was investors took advantage of this open market operations, treasury bills auction, where the central bank offered about three instruments at a very interesting and very good rates. The traders and investors considered 17.95% and 18.55%. So that drains liquidity at the market. But if you look at the secondary window where the FMDQ OTC market, and you can see the figures there on your TV screen, that's where you see that treasury bills was quite active despite the outflow via the primary treasury bills auction. The secondary window was also active, 164.08 billion naira. But in terms of what the yields were, or the yes, the yields on those treasury bills, you find the dated treasury bills as earlier shown on your screen. Move on to the FGN bonds. Okay, that's the next one. The closest in terms of maturity was the 29th of June 2019 FGN paper. Yesterday was the DMO auction, so don't expect anything significant at this window until all the results, of course, the results are out already. And then you find everybody moving on from here, bearing any other FX interventions the central bank may decide to do before the market rounds off tomorrow. So you find the most 4 actively traded FGN bonds on the FMDQ OTC market on Wednesday. In total, that's a shy of 10 billion naira. That looks a little bit distant. But of course, the conversations for the rest of the program will be around the Dangote Sugar $450 million deal with Niger State. Then we'll talk about why Benedict Orama and the rest of his team from Afrexim are in Nigeria to sell $300 million depository receipts. We'll be back in 2.